Hey everybody, this is Stitch1993. Welcome back to another toy review. Today we're looking at the Teddy Ruxpin Action figure line. Now, I know what most of you are probably thinking. Teddy Ruxpin, isn't he a stuffed animal? Well, yes, but no. So it started off with of course, the Teddy Ruxpin stuffed animal with the books that came with the tapes, of course. But they eventually expanded into television. Now, originally they made a made-for-TV special that was going to be a pilot called The Adventures of Teddy Ruxpin that was made using all live-action puppets. And they were all human-sized, full-bodied, suited puppets with animatronics for the mouth and facial movements. Now, of course, this was the 80s, so that was still a pretty expensive format to do. It's still pretty expensive today as well. So, of course, they eventually decided to go with the usual traditional 2D animation style. However, they used all the designs for that show, of course, that were based on the books for the Toys series, which is what we're going to go over here. There were 10 figures created for this line, and one vehicle and one playset. Now, I don't have the playset or vehicle to show today. The vehicle is pretty rare and it's kind of expensive online, so if I've ever come across it in the wild, of course, I'll pick it up and review it. And the playset only comes with 2 figures that I already own and just a giant play mat. So I may pick that up one day and show it to you, but today we're just going to look at the figures here. So what I'm going to do is show off each of these characters one by one and just kind of go over their posability. Now, if you notice, they are pretty small, each standing at about 4.5 inches for the tallest one and 2.5 inches for the smallest one. But they're all pretty well detailed, as you will. Really good paint jobs on all of them. The posability is pretty limited, so let's get into that right now. Of course, starting with who else but Teddy Ruxpin. So Teddy Ruxpin himself measures in right at 3-inch line, and as you can see, they're not the most, at least for some of the smaller figures, not the most stable on even flat ground there. So thankfully they do have some posability to help with that, and we'll go over that really quick here. But I do want to just kind of go over the great detail in these sculpts here. They really got the essence of the characters from the books and television show really down. You can see the all the little etchings here for his fur, and they even added in the buttons for the sides of his vest here. Now, these are secondhand, so they're going to be a little bit dirtier than usual here, but yeah, let's go into the posability here. Now, these are made of just plain PVC plastic, so they're pretty hard, except for one figure. I'll go into that when we get to him. But Teddy Ruxpin, he has 5 points of posability there. Of course, he's got the head swivel. He's got both arms that are pretty hard to move, although you can get them turned all the way around 360 with some effort there. And then on the course of the feet here, you've got some leg joints here, and so the legs themselves can swivel a little bit, but not by much there. Same with the other one there. So that's Teddy Ruxpin. As I said, there is some posability with those legs to help with standing, but probably is best if you are using these for display. Probably use like some sticky tack or something to keep them standing. So next we go with Teddy Ruxpin's friend Grubby, who is I believe he's basically, a caterpillar, but they don't call them caterpillars in the stories. I forgot the name of it. I'll put it up on screen here. But that is what the character type is, and he's got a good bit of posability here. As you can see, each of his 6 legs are jointed here, as well as his arms and his neck. He's got a pretty basic design, in general. So he has a pretty basic paint design as well. So he's got the yellow all around, eyes are painted, and then he's got the little orange spots along his back and nose there. Still really great figure there. And so we've got of course the head swivel where you can go all the way around. Both arms that are, unfortunately, because of where the head is and how the arms are sculpted in this in the L shape here, you cannot move them all the way up without it blocking the head. I guess you could maneuver the head if you wanted to and really force it over, but I really don't want to do that and break the figure. So looking at the 6 legs, they can all move, and at least the front ones, you can swivel them almost all the way around. Guess if you really got in there, you could make them go, there we go, at least some of them all the way around. So the middle ones, of course, are blocked by both the front and the back feet, so they're not going to move much there. And of course the back feet are blocked by the middle feet, so they're not going to be able to move almost all the way around either. Right, moving right on, we've got Gimmick, the wise old inventor of the show. Again, really love this paint design and sculpt for his apron. They even painted in all his little tools there, if you can see. So he's got like screwdrivers, and it looks like a magnifying glass. All really well painted. His hair's all nice and sculpted there. He's got these great purple pants that really just pop, along with this teal green under long sleeve shirt. So just like Teddy Ruxpin, he's got the 5 points of articulation. He's got his head that swivels all the way around, both arms, and he kind of has, it feels like he's got something blocking in there, so maybe it's like a lock joint, so he can really only move them at a 90-degree angle. And same with this one. Again, this one, you can move it all the way around, but it's really, as you can see, I'm really forcing here. I don't know if that's just the paint from the years. These are, you know, of course, over 30-year-old figures here. So, yeah, really rough, really hard to move. And you got the legs that also, just like Teddy's, can swivel to help with the stability. And some of them are a little looser than others, depending on, you know, how good in shape they are. So I'll definitely check that out when you're buying these. I've come across some where the joints are basically falling off, so I think that's just how these things were made. So definitely be careful when moving these guys around. Alright, so let's get on with the villain. So next we've got the main villain, Tweeg, here. He's probably one that's got the least amount of articulation here. As you can see, he's got this vest that's just all one big vinyl piece here. Yeah, he doesn't even have feet, so but he does have some bit of articulation. So of course he does have the head, and it can, even with the collar, the head can go all the way around 360 degrees, and then his arms kind of protrude out of his cloak there. So his arms, from like, one is from the wrist and one is from the elbow, but they can rotate 360 degrees. This one can move. It's just his fingers are really sharp there, so if I'm trying to grasp it, it's like almost stabbing me with how much there. But it can rotate just a little bit there, but it feels more like that piece is just kind of locked in there in place, not really meant to move. So you can move basically 2 pieces on this entire figure. However, I do enjoy this figure just because of, I like all these, what really got me into the series was just the designs of these creatures. So especially Tweeg, he's probably my favorite of these design wise, and he's my favorite character in the show. He's just so whiny, but so just evil in that cartoony sense there. But his sidekick Bounder is kind of the same in regards to articulation, but he has a bit more, at least by 1 of the articulation more than Tweeg here. So he's got these legs that can swivel all the way around with ease. mind you, and again, it may vary depending on how well kept your figure is there. And then he's got this little tail that can also swivel all the way around 360 degrees. And as I said before, he is the shortest figure here, measuring in at just a little under, I would say, with the spike, about 2.5 inches there. You can definitely have fun with this guy, especially if you get Tweeg as well. Next is a Mudblup. Now these guys are great. They were kind of a villain in the show there, but more of just a nuisance for the characters. And because of how because of how just kind of not bland, but indescriptive, I guess would be the word. I made that word up. Of how the Mudblups are, except for like the king, which they didn't make a figure of the king. They just made the just the army of them. You could really army build with this guy and make like a whole little crew of Mudblups. So he is pretty articulated. Of course, he's got the head that swivels all the way around. He's got the arms that can go all the way up and over, but his head's kind of blocking the arms from doing 360. And then he's got hip joints, which can allow him to actually sit. He's one of the few characters that can actually sit down. And then with the, if you move the arms out of the way, you can, of course, rotate the legs all the way around. And great sculpt as always. Just all the mud kind of oozing over. It's just great. And of course, they got the nice paint design there, so it's all nice and shadowed, so you can definitely see each layer of that mud really well. Show the backside there as well. Alright, next villain is a Gutang. Now these were a bit more on the serious side of villains, even more so than Tweeg here. Now in the show, I believe they could take the armor off, because one of the episodes, Teddy Ruxpin and Grubby steal the armor to infiltrate the castle, but the figure does not come off, so that is just how the figure looks. He's got, or they got some articulation. It's really interesting here with this one. So we do have the articulation in the arms, but it's one whole joint, so one arm is going to move the other just like that. You can't, it's all connected there inside, so you can't move one without moving the other. The tail is sculpted, so it's not movable. And then the legs, this is the only one that, or one of the only two that's like this, where the legs are also just one big scope, so you can rotate them 360, but you can't rotate them individually, which is fine though, because the way they've got them sculpted, this is probably one of the best ones in regards to standing up, and just really like this design of the mask here. They really did a really good job with sculpting all these. Even the tail and the legs and the bottom of this guy, they sculpted all the hair in for these creatures. Now we get into some of the friends of Teddy Ruxpin. So first we've got the Fob, which is the little bird type of character here. Now the bird's already sculpted sitting, and you can't get the Fob in kind of a couple of colors just because they were multicolored on the show. My Fob is orange, but I believe there's blue and purple Fobs as well. And some of these characters are fleeced. I don't have the fleece kind. I really don't like the feel of fleece. It just I don't know how to explain it. I don't like it, so I try not to get the fleeced characters if I can help it. Yeah, so Fob is probably the least articulated, even less so than Tweeg, because Fob only has the head swivel. That is all. Now you can swivel it 360 degrees, but other than that, it's kind of in a pretty basic design here, although I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but they did sculpt in a good bit of the feathers there, so the sculpt is still great. It's just pretty ordinary paint job in my opinion. Next we have Grunge, which I don't remember Grunge showing up a lot in the show there. He was kind of one-off character, so it was kind of really weird that they made a character of Grunge. Yeah, it's, I don't know. Great sculpt as always. I honestly thought you would make a figure out of the knight that showed up a good bit in the show. Whatever. Or the wizard. So, Grunge has the 5 points of articulation. Well, actually, no. Grunge has 4 points of articulation. So, Grunge has the head. And remember how I said it's all PVC? Well, Grunge's head, some reason, is like kind of a softer rubber. And I don't know if it's just, you know, the deterioration of the plastic or what, but he actually does have a pretty kind of soft head there. Then we've got the arms, which do have articulation, but just like some of the other figures, it's really hard to move them. So I'm really trying to be delicate with moving these guys there. Yeah, I think it's the paint just kind of, after a while, just kind of, you know, gooed up these joints. So you can't really move the arms all that much there. And then, just like the Gutang, his legs are sculpted together, so you can swivel them 360, no problem. And that does help with standing the character up. But yeah, just an interesting character there. Finally, and probably my second favorite out of these figures, is Wooly Whatsit. Wooly Whatsit is the biggest figure in this line, measuring in at almost 5 inches. I'll zoom out a little bit so you can see a little bit better. Yeah, so, you know, 4.5. Yep, 4 3/4. Still, really great figure, really great sculpt. I just really like his, you know, big, goofy smile here. This one has the most points of articulation on it outside of Grubby. So of course we've got the head sculpt where the beard is going to block him from being able to swivel all 360 degrees, but it can turn pretty well left to right. Then of course we've got the arms that, again, because of the head, are going to be blocked from moving all the way up. Now he, along, just like the Mublub, has the jointed hips, so he is able to sit fully down. And then he also has a posable tail that can swivel all the way around. However, because of how long the tail is, you aren't going to be able to stand him up quite well if you pull it downwards. You always have to have it at the side or standing all the way up. So that's going to be it for the Teddy Ruxpin Action Figure series. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. Did you grow up with the Teddy Ruxpin series at all? Whether it was the toy, the books, did you watch the television show, did you collect the action figures? Did you know that the action figures were a thing? Or is this your first time finding out about any of this? But definitely check out the series just in general, because it is, even though, you know, it's been memed to death by now, it's actually really great series to check out. And until next time, thank you and have a good. Alright, so this is a bit impromptu. So literally like a couple days or a week or so after I've done editing the Teddy Ruxpin video, we go up to my uncle's to unwrap some late minute gifts. I'm recording this in January, and what do you know, but I get gifted the Teddy Ruxpin playmat here. So the box apparently did not survive the trip, but he was able to cut out the pieces of the box that you think I would have wanted to keep. So this is what the front of the box looks like here. Land of Grundo map play area. Then we see the world of Teddy Ruxpin. This is, I'll pull it out here, because this was actually the front of the box. I'll show a picture here what the actual thing was. So right here in these two gaps is where there'd be some clear plastic to where you could see the two figures. Now, most of the boxes that you'll find on eBay and other sites will have Twig and Grubby as the two figures that it came with. But my uncle said that when he had one as a kid growing up, his came with Twig and the Gootang there. So let me know down in the comments which two figures, if you did have this Matt growing up, which two figures you grew up with. So then on the back, we've got two other pieces. This was the one of the flaps that showed all the characters, and as you'll notice here, some of the characters have different paint jobs, like the Fob and Twig, and even Gootang here is more brown without his green features there. So that was kind of cool that, you know, these are, I guess, you know, early models of some of these characters. They're at least early paint jobs of some of these characters. And then also we've got the backing. This is where little tabs would be there, and shows kind of what the maps look like here. So it says, now you can travel through the land of Grumbo with Teddy Ruxpin and his friends in miniature. This special edition of the Land of Grundo brings all the familiar landmarks to life on a full-color 3-foot by 4-foot vinyl map. Together with Teddy and his friends, you can find your way to the hard-to-find city, tiptoe through the Bounder Pass, and even scale the mountains to the land of Ying. You can follow along with Teddy Ruxpin adventures or make up your own as you go along. Your Land of Grundo map play area comes with Grubby and Twig posable miniatures. They're made in bright, beautiful colors and are made of soft plastic. They're the perfect size for traveling around the Land of Grundo map or traveling in the airship toy model, sold separately. The Land of Grundo map folds up for easy storage and is durable. Vinyl surface wipes clean with a damp cloth. You can use it on a table or on the floor or even outside on the lawn. And now there are lots of posable miniatures of Teddy Ruxpin and his friends to choose from, sold separately. Now everyone can join in on the fun with the Land of Grundo map. So, here is the map. Stuff in the bag here. And I am going to unfold this out, but I just really want to show just how detailed this map here is. It looks like it's pen ink with watercolor for all the colors here. I love it. So I've got this on my couch here in the living room just because it is so big. As it said, it is 3 feet long by 4 feet long by 3 feet high. And I don't even think I can get the whole thing in the shot here. Let me see if I can zoom it. There we go. Alright, so yeah, that's the whole map. And you see my couch. It almost fills up my entire couch. Let's see if I can zoom in here. So we got King, Nogbert's Castle, we got the hard-to-find city, Twig's moms, the bird people. These were all places in the cartoon. Wizard of Grundo, Leaky Lake, Ben's Beach, Mavo headquarters, the Great Wall of Ying, Land of Ying, Misley Meadows, Rainbow Falls, Moss Forest, Grunge Village, Lakota's Schoolhouse, Bogley Woods, Woodley Bog, Mud Blup Caves, the Great Desert, Mushroom Forest, King Nogbert's Castle, Riolonia, Twig's Tower, Gimmick's Valley, Woolly What's It, Jungle with No Name, Trembly Fault, and again, love the detail in this map here. I'm going to post a picture showing just where how all the figures scale to this map. So we got this nice A little insignia mark here on the map here at the bottom. In the left-hand, bottom left-hand corner, we say made in Taiwan, manufactured for Worlds of Wonder Inc. And over on the right-hand corner, we've got copyright date of 1986, Alchemy 2 Inc., all rights reserved. And if you want to know, the back of this is just plain white. So yeah. And this map is actually still pretty inexpensive to find online. I think the most I've seen it go for is probably about 20-25 bucks, depending on the if you want the box or not, or if you just want the map itself, or also if you want the box complete with the 2 figures. So it's pretty cheap. As I said, the most expensive toy is going to be the air balloon vehicle there, which I'll eventually get and review. It is going to be on my list of toys to get eventually, along with the rest of the cubic slime there and some of the more rare potato heads there. But yeah, so again, till next time, thanks and have a good day. Bye.